Dirk Nowitzki is one of the greatest players of all time. He was a champion, an MVP, Finals MVP, 13-time All-Star, 12-time All-NBA, and a top 5 power forward of all time. And if you want to see Dirk play his last couple of years in the NBA, I'd recommend checking out SeatGeek. It's an app that aggregates ticket prices from all over the web to help you find the best deals for games, concerts, Broadway shows, and other events. The prices marked in green are good, while the ones in red are bad. The app is very easy to use, and you can also see the view from your seats before you buy it, which is my favorite feature. I used the app to buy tickets to a Knicks game last year, and the process was very smooth. Use my promo code ANDY at checkout to get $20 off your first purchase. Thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring this video. Alright, let's get started. Nearing the end of his career, Dirk's role has changed, and he's no longer the best player on the team, but he's still moving along and he's still getting buckets. In this video, I'm going to talk about 6 incredible facts about Dirk Nowitzki that will leave you speechless. Number 6, he won a lot without that much help. After Steve Nash and Michael Finley left, Dirk did not have that much help at all. From 2005 to 2018, Dirk's teammates made a combined total of 2 All-Star appearances. That was a 37-year-old Jason Kidd in 2010, who was an injury replacement, and Josh Howard in 2007. That's pretty ridiculous. I mean, I know Dirk has played with players who were former All-Stars, but I'm only talking about when they were teammates. So for 13 years, Dirk's only had 2 All-Star players by his side. What's even crazier is that from 2005 to 2011, Dirk led the Mavs to 7 straight 50-win seasons, and in 2 of those seasons they won 60 or more games. That's one of the things that people forget when they talk about Dirk. The Mavs always had trouble getting him help, and getting him another star teammate in free agency was pretty much impossible. Instead, the Mavs always got him former stars who were well past their primes. It worked out in 2011, but the other years, it did not. Nowadays, you basically need multiple All-Stars or Superstars to win a championship. But back in the day, Dirk proved that he did not need that. He was good enough to win without that much help. Number 5, he took insane pay cuts throughout his entire career. Dirk did anything to help his team win, and even in the middle of his prime, he was still taking pay cuts. He always left money on the table in order for the Mavs to sign other players to give the team a better chance of winning. Sadly, this would backfire sometimes. The most prominent example was in the 2014 offseason. Dirk was 35 years old, but he just had an incredible season, averaging 22 points a game on elite efficiency. And he also played 33 minutes a game for 80 games. On top of that, both the Houston Rockets and the Los Angeles Lakers reportedly offered him a 4-year, $97 million max contract. But instead, Dirk did not even think about leaving Dallas, and he accepted a substantially smaller 3-year, $25 million deal to stay there. And the only reason he took this massive pay cut was so the team could sign Chandler Parsons. Yeah, they spent the money that could have went to Dirk on Chandler Parsons, where he got 3 years, $46 million. By the numbers, that was the largest pay cut in NBA history. Dirk literally gave up $72 million just because he's loyal to Dallas. That's almost insane when you think about it, but that's who he was. Dirk always put the team ahead of himself. Unfortunately, Parsons did not live up to his contract in Dallas, partly because he was very injury prone. So it didn't really work out in the end, as the Mavs continued to lose in the first round. Number 4, a simple yet savage trash talker. Now, when we think about legendary trash talkers, Dirk is probably not gonna come to mind. But according to other players, Dirk had some of the most savage trash talk lines that they've ever heard. His signature phrase, which he uses whenever he's destroying his defender, is, "You should learn Chinese because you'll be in China soon." Man, that's pretty funny. It's subtle, yet it can really get into players' heads. Dirk is also known for calling his opponents burgers. Every time Dirk was being guarded by a smaller defender, he'd call them a burger. According to Dirk, he started calling people burgers because he got it from a teammate. He used to have a teammate named Gary Trent, who would always call people burgers at practice, and that's when he started to say it too. Dirk also loves to trash talk his own teammates. One time, when Dirk was about to play his 20th season, Harrison Barnes walked up to him and asked, "That's impressive, do you think I can get to 20 years?" To which Dirk responded, "No way, man, you need major skill to get to 20 years. Number 3, he dropped 52 points on Scottie Pippen as an 18-year-old.
Michael, Scottie, a bunch of guys, like NBA players. Dirk was like 18. This is when Scottie was quote-unquote the best defender in the world. So Dirk is kicking our ass. He's got like 25 at halftime. And me and Michael like, "Scottie, you got to pick it up a little bit." He's, "Man, I'm going to lock him down in the second half. I'm going to lock him down in the second half." Dirk finished with like 52.
Unfortunately, there's no footage of this game, and most of the details were claimed by Charles Barkley, so it might not be 100% accurate. But according to a report, the game did indeed happen. So what happened was, in 1997, a couple of NBA All-Stars played a couple of exhibition games in Europe. It was called the Nike Hoop Heroes Tour. Some of the players there included Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, and Charles Barkley himself. According to Chuck, Dirk was destroying Pippen for the entire game, and this was when Pippen was supposedly the greatest defender in the world. Dirk roasted him for 52 points. At just 18 years old, he looked unstoppable against a team of the best players in the NBA. Barkley proceeded to try and get Dirk to go to college at Auburn in the United States, but Dirk said that he had to go to the Army. I think it's a really cool story and shows how good he was at such an early age, playing against the best competition the sport has to offer. Eventually, Dirk would actually not even go to college in America, and instead he went straight to the 1998 NBA draft. He would get drafted by the Milwaukee Bucks and then, of course, traded to Dallas. Number 2, he changed the game. Every single time you see a player nowadays shoot a jumper off of one leg, who does it remind you of? Dirk Nowitzki. It's right up there with Kareem's sky hook as the most unguardable shot in history. Dirk himself has said that he started to shoot one-legged fadeaways because it creates a lot of space. If you just square up and shoot it, it's easier to get blocked, but if you stick that leg out, it gives more room to get the shot off. In Dirk's 20 years in the league, I've only seen his one-legged fadeaway get blocked only one time, and that was by Anthony Davis. But whenever a player has a move that other players are trying to copy, that says a lot. When he came into the league, a 7-footer who played like a shooting guard was basically unheard of. While most players that big would focus on playing in the post or near the basket, Dirk killed defenders from the perimeter. Later on in his career, he would improve his post game as well and scored in so many different ways. Nowadays, we see so many 7-foot players who prefer to play outside of the paint, and a lot of that has to do with Dirk. He expanded and changed what it means to be a power forward. Kevin Durant has said that Dirk was very special to him growing up. One of my friends was like, "The Diggler got 28 in the first half." I was like, shit, that's a lot of points. I watched it back, one-leggers, pull-up jump shots, threes, pump fake, one-dribble pull-ups, all the fundamentals. I was like, that's who I want to try and be like. Number 1, Dirk led the Mavs to the greatest playoff run of all time. In my opinion, of course. Some would say it's Hakeem in 1995. That was amazing as well, but Dirk's 2011 playoff run was simply remarkable. After the first round of the playoffs that year, the Mavs were not favored in any other series. And even in the first round, some thought that the Blazers had the highest chance to cause an upset. Before 2011, Dirk's reputation was not that good. He was seen as being soft, and most did not believe his style of play could lead his team to a championship. It doesn't help that he crumbled under the pressure in the 2006 finals. And then in 2007, his MVP season, he got knocked out of the first round and played the worst series of his entire career. Those things also happened in the middle of his prime, so it was reasonable that very few people believed that the 2011 Mavericks with a 32-year-old Nowitzki could pull off this historic playoff run. Everything just clicked for the Mavs that year. They swept the Lakers in the second round, defeated a very young Oklahoma City team, and then of course, they defeated the new Miami Heat's Big Three. Dirk displayed the most complete offensive skill set he's ever had, and he hit clutch shots after clutch shots. For his entire playoff run, he averaged 28 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists on insane shooting efficiency. capping off arguably the greatest playoff run in NBA history. And that's all, folks. Recently, Dirk also scored over 31,000 points, and he's currently 6th on the points leaderboard. Anyway, thank you everyone so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I'll see you next time. Peace.